Based on the way I look, where do you think I'm from? India? Mexico? How about Italy? What about Kyrgyzstan? These are some of the places people think I'm from. What I actually am is half Japanese and half Irish American. There is a term commonly used to identify people like myself, and that is Hafu. In my day-to-day experience in Japan, people are often surprised to learn that I am Hafu. Strangers will come up to me and say, "Okuni wa doko desu ka?" What country are you from? When they learn my last name is Nishikura, the next question usually is, "Nihonjin to kekkon sarete masu ka?" Are you married to a Japanese? I often reply with, "No, my father is Japanese. 実はお父さんが日本人です." But what I really want to say is, it's because I'm Japanese. I'm very fortunate in that I come from a loving family that had the means to give me the opportunity to spend my summers in the United States. So I grew up between two different worlds. In Japan, I remember going to the local matsuris, the festivals, and trying my darnest to scoop up that goldfish with that paper scoop, but always failing. And in America, I remember going to the local shopping mall and being in awe of how the stores just stretched out for miles. For a young girl, it was paradise. But wherever I went, once I was beyond the comfort of my home or family, I always felt like I didn't quite fit in. I wanted to belong, which I think is a natural human desire. In Japan, I wish my teachers at my Japanese elementary school wouldn't single me out for being able to speak English. And in America, I wish I had blonde pigtails like the girls in my grandmother's neighborhood. While I was lucky to have never been picked on in school, I know that there are those of us who have. Simply, whether innocent or malicious intent, simply by the way somebody says something to us or looks at us, we're acutely reminded that we are not like those around us, that we don't belong. And sometimes that desire to belong is so great that we're willing to hide or change that part of us that is different. But it's not as simple as buying a new wardrobe to fit in with the cool kids. Denying who we are, even one part of us, creates the suffocating feeling like we're not good enough. Even today, I catch a glimpse of myself in the mirror of a restaurant where I'm eating with my relatives, and I go, "Wow, I look so different. How is it that I'm related? Do I even belong here?" But then a moment later, I am moved by the fact that despite their differences, both cultural and racial, my parents found love. And those differences were once so great that my grandparents were on opposite sides of a war. Knowing the value of respecting and loving both cultures, my parents raised me to believe that I was both Japanese and American. However, in Japan in particular, society has trouble reflecting that back to me. People don't even often recognize me as being half Japanese. They just see me as a foreigner. Now, some might say this is understandable, with only 2% of the population in Japan being not Japanese and there being few ethnic minorities here. But as somebody who has grown up here and is Japanese by birth, why is it so hard to be recognized as one? So what does it mean to be Japanese? It seems like there's this unspoken definition. One must look Japanese, speak Japanese, and abide by all its customs and traditions. And if someone can't check off each box 100%, then he or she is not Japanese. But people like me are becoming more and more common every day. Today, 1 in 18 marriages is an international union. And as a result, 1 in 49 babies are born between such couples. That is over 20,000 hafus a year. With such changing demographics, I think the current understanding of what it means to be Japanese needs to change. The definition of Japanese needs to expand to include hafus. こんな顔でも日本人であり得る社会になってほしい。Maybe you can look like me and sound like me and still be Japanese. As a filmmaker, exploring these questions came naturally to me through the lens of a camera. So it began in film school, where I made short movies about my personal identity and my family, to upon graduating, where I started producing videos for organizations that fight racial prejudice and foster multicultural understanding. All of which leads to this moment now, where through the Hafu Project, I met 3 young Hafu women like myself, and together we came to make a feature-length film. Through 5 stories filmed over a year, we asked these very questions. What does it mean to be Hafu? And what does it mean to be Japanese?
He was started to be called names. You are not Japanese, you are Egojin.
毎日喧嘩を打たれてました。
どこにいても目立つし、みんな不自然に見えるからもっと自然に扱ってくれよって、すぐそこの隣のやつに話しかけてるみたいに俺にも話しかけてくれよと思うわけ。
自分が日本人で信じきってたから居場所がなくなった感じ。
When you're younger, you don't want to be different. You want to be like everybody else.
日本自体にあまりつながってる気がしてなかった。
I feel like Japan is changing. Every day you see all these little half Japanese children running around.
自分と同じような背景の人が実はいっぱいいるんだってことに気づいて出会いたいなと思った。
He realized that he didn't have to try to become someone that everybody else expects him to be.
どこにいても偏見や差別もあるし、人間としてちゃんと人を見れる人間とつながっていけばいいんだと思った。
違うことを嫌うのではなくて受け入れて学んでいくことによって日本の未来がすごい明るくなるんじゃないかなと思います。
Since we began filming, the response has been tremendous. Hafus and their families write to us from all corners of the globe, offering their support and encouragement. To me, this is a testament that the parts of us that feels unrecognized wants our stories to be heard. The film was completed in April and is now screening worldwide. None of us Hafus chose to be born this way. However, having come from 2 parents of different cultures or different phenotypes, by our mere presence, we've been given an opportunity to start this conversation about the labels that society places on all of us. I believe these labels of separation are what leads to exclusion, discrimination, conflict, and even war. Ultimately, I think it's not just about being recognized as part of Japan. I think what we're really seeking is to be seen authentically in our entirety for the parts of us that is Japanese and the parts of us that is not. What I have come to understand is that it's up to each and every one of us to decide for ourselves who we are and not to be confined by the boundaries that seek to define us or exclude us. And in that act of knowing who we are and accepting it, we allow others to know it is okay for us to be that way as well. My name is Nishikura Megumi. With this name and this face, I am Japanese, American, and Hafu. Thank you.